Hello everybody, Ghostblade 1062 here with another locomotive review. Today we will be looking at a Trix model, this being a railbus actually, rather than a locomotive. And this is the Wismar CFV3V Railbus, also nicknamed the Pig Snout due to the shape of its nose. And now, let's move on to the unboxing. Alright, so taking a look at the box, we have our nice shadowed in locomotives on the front here, as well as the Trix HO logo. On the top, we don't have any information, but we do have a bit of disposal information, as well as voltage information and the manufacturer contact information here. On the back, we just have the shadowed in locomotives and Trix logo. And then on the right side of the box here, we have the product description as well as the product ID, as well as a number of its features and a picture of the railbus. And then moving on to the left side, we again have a lot of the same information, as well as we have the product barcode. We again see the product description in multiple languages here, unlike on the other side where it was only in German. And again, this is a Wismar CFV3V Railbus. It is product ID 25138. It is DCC and sound equipped with an MFX decoder, as well as it is Railcom compatible. And it is an era in the operating condition era 5 and 6. And now, sliding off the outer sleeve, we have an age restriction warning on the bottom of the box here. On the top, we see our slot for our paperwork, which I will pull the folder out. And of course, we have our clamshell that actually holds the railbus itself. So, looking at our folder with our paperwork first, if I can get it all out. Okay, that is it. So we have 2 user manuals here, encompassing a total of 9 different languages. But we'll just move into the first one here. On the English, so here we have safety information, we have programming information, we have our function chart, we have a list of CVs, and then it moves on to the next language. So all in all, not too much by ways of information there. And now, sliding off the outer sleeve of the clamshell, we can pop it open. And we do also have this softer plastic wrapping around the railbus to help protect the paint. And here we have the railbus, and right off the bat, it's got a full die-cast body, which I can feel from the material. And next, we will move on to the detail overview section of the video. Time to take a closer look at the railbus. Starting on the front here, we have a badge with the Wismar logo, And though it is hard to tell, we do have an etched grille on the front here with these protective bumpers across the front. We do also have our 3 lights here, though they are non-functioning. As well as beside the top light here, we have the horn. We also have separately mounted windshield wipers here. And looking at the Railbus from the side here, we can see our support frame for the bumper, as well as the support frames on the lights. On both doors of this side, which are molded in, we have separately fitted handrails on either side, as well as separately fitted steps to climb into the Railbus. We can also see inside of the model, and there is seating which you could put passengers into. However, a good chunk of the inside is taken up by the motor housing. And moving on to the other end, we see again we have our bumper here. We have the Wismar badge on the center of the grille. We have our separately fitted wiper, our lights and horn. And again, same detailing on the other side. So all in all, by ways of detailing, there isn't much to this model. On the roof, we do have an exhaust here. But aside from that, we don't have any real roof detailing. We do have the slightly raised portion of the roof, which if you look close, you can see some riveting detailing along the edge of that. And then we have some underside detailing, which is nice. So we have our dry shafts on either end going to the axles. You also have your brake line detailing on the underside, your brake cylinder, as well as your air reservoir hoses, and several luggage compartments. So by ways of underside detailing, this is done very well, especially considering there isn't much to detail on the main body of the Railbus. And now we'll move on to the rip track segment of the video. Welcome to the rip track segment. This will be a rather short segment for this Railbus, as it does not have any couplers to it to check on. So all we will be doing is verifying the wheel gauge. And both axles on this are driven. Axle number 1 is good. And axle number 2 is also good. So both of our axles are properly engaged. So now we'll take it over to the track for a function test. Alright, I've got the Railbus on the track now, as well as I got its address programmed into my command station. And as it turns out, I was actually wrong about the lighting based on its exterior appearance. It looked like they were dummy lights. However, they are actually functioning and directional. As we can see, they are a nice warm yellow color with red rear lighting, which change based on the direction of travel. And by ways of movement, it has a nice crawling speed. This is speed step 1. Now on to function 1, which is our operating sounds. Function 2 is the long whistle blast. Function 3 is the interior lighting. Function 4 is the ABV off. Function 5 turns off the brake squeal. Function 6 turns off the rear cab lighting. Which, if I'm not mistaken, might be... Okay, that is a function I will have to figure out. And as we can hear, it actually shuts down and starts up the motors on each end depending on travel. Function 7 is the short whistle. Function 8 is cab 1, the lights off. So it actually shuts off the headlights, not interior lights. Function 9 is the third headlight changeover, which shuts off the third headlight. Function 10 is the conductor whistle. Function 11 is the door sounds. Function 12 is the multi-stop announcement. Function 13 is the control desk or dashboard lighting. I'm not sure if we'll be able to properly catch. There we go. Function 14 is the engineer's greeting and light flash. Function 15 is the switching whistle. Function 16 is shunting mode. And 17 is shunting mode with affecting the lighting. Function 18 is the compressor sounds. Function 19 is the air let off. Function 20 is sanding. Function 21 is the wiper sound. Function 22 is station sounds. Function 23 is the fueling. Function 24 is spilling the sand. Function 25 is the track sound. And function 26 is somewhat of a unique one. It is a prototype history announcement.
Die Wismarer Schienenbusse sind entstanden, als es den Kleinbahnen im heutigen Bundesland Niedersachsen sehr schlecht ging. Damals war der Omnibus das moderne Verkehrsmittel und ein Schlagwort aus der damaligen Zeit war, der Zug muss busähnlicher werden. Da das Landeskleinbahnamt Hannover der Initiator dieser originellen Schienenbusse war, benannte die Triebwagen- und Waggonfabrik Wismar den Triebwagen als Typ Hannover. Unser Modell der Königsspur stellt einen Wismarer vom Typ Hannover A dar, den größten Grundrisstyp, den Wismar produzierte. Die Eisenbahndirektion Saarbrücken bestellte 4 Fahrzeuge dieses Typs. Diese waren untypisch mit Deutz-Dieselmotoren ausgerüstet, welche beide Radsätze antrieben. Diese Sonderlinge unter den Wismarer Schienenbussen überlebten den Zweiten Weltkrieg und gelangten als VT 88.9 in das Eigentum der jungen Deutschen Bundesbahn. 1951 übernahm die Wittlager Kreisbahn von der DB 3 der 4 noch vorhandenen ehemaligen Saarbahn-Schienenbusse. Bei der Grundüberholung wurden neue, mit 85 PS noch deutlich stärkere Dieselmotoren eingebaut, wofür breitere Motorhauben verwendet wurden. Diese Änderungen brachten ihnen den Spitznamen Igel ein. Der T5 ist bis heute durch die Initiative der Museumseisenbahn Minden, Sektion Preußisch-Oldendorfer Kleinbahnmuseum e.V. erhalten geblieben und wird aktuell aufgearbeitet.
So this last function is something I've never had on a locomotive before, having a prototype history announcement. That is something truly unique. But now we will move on to some run-by footage. Alright everybody, this concludes my review of the Trix Wismar CFV3V Railbus. All in all, this is a very nice piece, a nice addition to my collection, and my first Railbus actually. And there are several other types that I do plan to get in the future. It's got great sound quality, and all in all, it's running very smoothly. During the detail overview section, I was mistaken about the headlights and rear lights being just decorative and not functioning due to their outward appearance, which I'm glad I was wrong on. And all in all, it's running smoothly. It is a very slow model, as the speed during the run-by footage was at speed step 63 out of 128. So all in all, it's not the fastest vehicle, but it is still a very nice addition to my collection. That being said, if you enjoyed the video, leave a like and a comment, and subscribe for more model railroad content. Have a great day, everybody.